Welcome back to Cooking with Hua. Today I'll be making Guava Shortbread Bars. Today is the third day of my 12 Days of Christmas series. You will need 5 simple ingredients. It's flour, sugar, salted butter, vanilla extract, and also guava paste. I'm going to make a simple shortbread recipe. You will need 2 sticks of salted butter at room temperature. I'm using a stand mixer, but feel free to use a pastry cutter or even a food processor. I'm using the paddle attachment and I'm not going to over whip it. Now I'm going to add in the rest of the ingredients. You will need 1/3 cup of sugar, and also if you don't want to add in the vanilla extract, you can leave it out and it'll just be a 4 ingredient recipe. This is 1 teaspoon. Combine all the ingredients together and make sure not to over mix it. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and give it one last mix, and then we're going to add in the flour. This is 2 cups of all-purpose flour and I'm going to add it in 2 parts. I have the mixer on low so then the flour doesn't fly up in my face. And you don't want to mix it into a ball just until it's crumbly and add in the flour. Then continue to mix the ingredients and make sure also to use a spatula and scrape down the bowl so you get all the butter and the flour and the sugar all nice and well incorporated. This recipe is going to be your crust and your top later. Use 2/3 for your crust and 1/3 for your topping. I'm using an 8-inch pan, but feel free to use a 9-inch pan if that's what you have. Line your pan with parchment paper. Remember, we're saving 1/3 part, so this is 2/3 parts of your shortbread crust, and add it in your pan. With clean hands, gently press down the shortbread crust into your pan until it's all even. I'm using a kitchen scraper just to even out the edges. If you don't have this kitchen tool, it's not necessary. I just want to make the edges a lot cleaner. With a fork, lightly poke your shortbread crust. It doesn't have to go all the way through. Pre-bake your shortbread crust for about 18 minutes at 350 degrees. While the shortbread crust is baking, we are going to prepare the guava paste. If you are unable to find guava paste, feel free to use any jelly jam. Just make sure that it's the seedless kind. The guava paste is pretty sticky, but don't worry, it comes off the knife really easily. I ended up only using 7 ounces of the guava paste, and the total amount of guava paste I purchased was 14 ounces. I will use the remaining guava paste for another recipe. Take out the shortbread crust. It will be pretty hot, so be careful. And we're going to leave it to cool for 5 minutes, so don't turn off your oven. And you can see the edges are just starting to brown up a bit. Then we're going to add in the guava paste and leave a border. I find that if you leave a border, it actually works out a lot better, so then the guava paste isn't sticking to your pan. And with the remaining 1/3 of your shortbread crust, we're just going to crumble it on top of your guava paste. Keep in mind, the pan is still pretty hot, so make sure you don't burn yourself. Then you're just going to lightly, gently press down the top of your shortbread crust to make sure that it sticks to the guava paste. Bake it for another 40 minutes. Mine did take about 43 minutes, so start checking at the 40 minute and let it cool completely before you start cutting into them. I'm using an off spatula just to loosen up the sides. Feel free to use like a knife or a paring knife. And the reason why I use parchment paper is so I can lift it up easily, so then I can cut the guava shortbread bars evenly. And I ended up cutting them into 16 even pieces. The guava shortbread recipe was such a hit with my family, and you can see the guava paste so beautifully right there in the middle between the shortbread crust. I really hope you enjoy my guava shortbread bars. Please give it a try and make sure that you stay tuned for tomorrow for day 4 of my 12 days of Christmas. Have a happy holiday, everyone. Bye, guys.